On the southern side of the strip, we find a large neon sign that says Vault 21 Hotel. While the sign part looks like it's made from neon letters, the big door behind the letters appears to be made from metal, from a legitimate vault door. If so, where did this Vault 21 get a real vault door for their hotel sign? Well, the only entrance we find to the Vault 21 Hotel is first through the gift shop. Upon entry, we see a small square room with a bunch of Vault-Tec memorabilia decorating the walls. It's staffed by a blonde woman in a Vault 21 jumpsuit named Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah Weintraub. Welcome to the finest vault hotel in the whole world.
Now, at any time, we can rent a room from her. She gives us a discount based on our strip reputation.
For the strip VIPs like you, I've got just the right room, at half the price.
Okay, here you go, 10 caps.
Go all the way down to the vault's main game room. Take the hallway to your left and then the first room on the left-hand side. Enjoy your stay.
But before we head on down, let's see if we can learn more about this hotel from her. So, Sarah, this is a vault hotel? Was it like this before the war?
No, silly. Of course it wasn't always a hotel. I grew up in it. I love it. My favorite place in the world. Not that I know much of the world. I never left this place, come to think of it. But it is the most special vault ever.
Oh, so this was a real Vault-Tec vault. And you've really never left the place?
Sure I have. I made the scene in the strip. It's just that I really like it here. Vault 21 is a kick.
You don't sound very convincing. Sarah, there's something else behind all this, right?
Okay, you're right. I hate going outside. It's almost impossible for me to step out of here. Still, I love my vault. It's my pad.
I see. Having grown up in a vault, you're a bit agoraphobic. That's all right, I understand. Are you the owner of this hotel and shop?
Well, it is my vault, all right. I mean, yeah. That is, no. I take care of it, but I suppose you could say that it belongs to Mr. House.
Mr. House? What does Mr. House have to do with Vault 21?
Mr. House has everything to do with Vault 21. He tried to get us out before he filled it with concrete. I almost went ape. So we convinced him. Okay, Sheldon and I, right? We convinced him to leave the top level mostly intact.
He filled your vault with concrete? Why would he do such a thing?
I don't know. Maybe he didn't want anybody sneaking around down there. My vault runs deep and wide. It's filled with corridors and rooms that go far. What gives him the right to screw us with the royal shaft anyway? So he saved New Vegas. Woohoo! Now scram and let us go on with our lives. Sheesh.
So Mr. House owns the vault, but you run the place, right?
Yeah, and you gotta dig what I did with it. Looking as good as it should. Almost.
Do you get a lot of business here?
Sure, the place is packed. Usually. We get loads of NCR cubes these days. A stray Brahmin Baron once in a while, and recently circle couples shining big rocks on their fingers.
Do you ever miss the old days in the vault?
It was bustling with activity. We all knew each other so well. You see, the vault kept us all even. It's all symmetry and windows down there. We solved any quarrels through gambling. Lady Luck cast no eyeballs, you know? So, nobody shafted anyone else. Yeah, I miss those days.
You know, a kind old man once gave me his wife's old vault suit. It had a 21 on the back. Do you happen to know Doc Mitchell?
Mitch? You mean Molebutt? I hadn't thought about that name in a long time. I was just a child and he had a big mole in his rear bumper. You understand, kids and all that. Everyone knows about each other in a vault. There's no other way. I hope Mitch is doing well.
This helps us bring to a close one of the first mysteries we are presented with in Fallout New Vegas. Upon awakening from our head wound and seeing the smiling face of Doc Mitchell, we tell him that someone stole our package, and he responds by saying that someone once took something of his as well. But when we ask him about it, he's a bit cagey. At the time, we asked him to tell us a bit about himself.
Well, I already told you I came from a vault. After that, I was a traveling doctor for a spell. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Most folks out here ain't educated, so people with medical know-how are hard to come by. I found that I could help a lot of people with what I knew, and that was all right with me. Eventually, I went back and married my childhood sweetheart, and that was the end of my traveling days. Didn't miss it none then. Still don't.
We learn that he came from a vault, but when we press him to learn more about what was taken from him, he says,
Well, ain't we all, right? That was a long time ago. I don't pay it much mind anymore.
Only after visiting Sarah Weintraub in Vault 21 and telling her about Doc Mitchell do we find a dialogue option that reveals more of his story. If we come back to Doc Mitchell, we can say, "I saw your old vault on the strip, Vault 21, right? Mr. House filled it with concrete?"
Yep, he sure did. Wanted himself a hotel, and to make sure once he made the change there'd never be any going back. We didn't get a say. I don't know how you'd argue with a fella like that anyways, everywhere and nowhere all at once. So, just like that, we was all homeless. Went our separate ways, and that was all she wrote.
Is that when you settled out here with your wife?
Eventually, we made our way out here, but, well, when folks spend their lives in isolation, sometimes that ain't the best of things for learning to fight off germs. We was going to California, but Good Springs was as far as we got. After she passed, wasn't no reason to keep going. I stayed so I could keep close to her.
So his wife did not build up immunities to viruses and bacteria that have mutated in the post-apocalyptic wasteland, and upon emerging from the vault, it was only a matter of time before she died. This poses an interesting conundrum, because thinking about it, that makes a lot of sense. How is it that so many vault dwellers, like the Boomers and the Lone Wanderer from Vault 101, not to mention either Nate or Nora, can survive having been detached from the ecosystem of microorganisms that have evolved above ground over a span of 200 years. Vault dwellers haven't had a chance to build up any natural immunities. I'm surprised more of them have not suffered the same fate. If we head to the Good Springs Cemetery, we do find some gravestones with names on them. Owen Perry, Timur Saba, Mr. D. Decolibus, rest in peace Fearless Dave, Jay Frenzel, Benny Lava, Danielle Mutant Melilli, rest in peace Jakey, Here Lies Verl, Sarah the Bear Fleedman, rest in peace Joe Jack Jr., Mr. J.R. Smith, rest in peace Mr. R. Horn, Whiskey Snakes Jr., and Count Abraham Jefferson III. We don't find any gravestone with the last name Mitchell, but I suppose it is always possible that Doc Mitchell's wife didn't take his last name. But one thing is for sure, if Mr. House hadn't forced them to leave their home, Vault 21, she would be alive today. Back at Vault 21, we can ask Sarah, what's so special about this vault?
My vault is pure New Vegas. Everyone has a chance, and Lady Luck smiles if you play your odds right. Okay, it was like that before we had to leave. Vault 21 had very smart ways to help people get along. All arguments and fights got solved through gambling. I'll give you a quick tour of my home. Oh yeah, if you like.
Sure, I'd love a tour.
Rightio, Daddy-o. Let's do it. All right, please follow me. We'll head into the vault right away.
With that, she walks towards a door against the western wall. After opening it, she heads towards some stairs.
This bunker protects the entrance to the vault. Solid stone outside and thick steel on the inside.
At the bottom of the stairs, she brings us into a small atrium.
Above us, there's a control center for this level of the vault's life support systems, electric grid, radioactive shields, and all that jazz. Don't get lost. My vault has many corridors and rooms, although it is no longer symmetrical after Mr. House threw us out.
Then through a doorway to the south and down some more stairs. This leads to the primary atrium, which now appears to be a gambling floor.
This is the main game hall. Here we settled the big disputes among the vault's levels. Chosen representatives gambled against each other here. The winner earned the right to settle the dispute as wished by the collective.
She leads us to the south and stops before a doorway to a diner.
We used to have such parties in this diner. A bitch to clean later, but well worth it.
She then turns to the northeast and leads us to the old vault rooms.
This hall leads to our guest rooms. You can use the first room on our left, but no snooping next door. That's my room. Always was.
Down the hallway, she passes the hotel room we gain access to if we rent a room, and then points out one final site along the way.
Down there is the game room. Each side of the vault had one, but the other is filled with concrete now. Okay, that wraps it up. I'll see you soon.
With that, she turns around and walks back upstairs to the gift shop. After Sarah leaves, we can explore the remainder of Vault 21. The door directly to the north is the door to the hotel room where we would sleep if we rent a room. In this room, we find the Guest 21 terminal. This terminal is a carbon copy of the terminals we'll find in all of these hotel rooms. We lose karma if we try to activate it before renting the room, and on the terminal, we find 3 sections. In the first, on services, we find 3 more sections. We'll start by exploring the diner menu. Enjoy our pre-war classic diner with the following meals. For breakfast, aspartame sugar bombs give the young'uns an early boost. Real corn flour pancakes would make Monsanto Corporation proud. I think that's a play on Monsanto. Savory iguana sausages. No, we only cook female iguanas. I see. This is giving us the confidence that we're not eating iguana sausages while eating iguana sausages. For lunch, they serve mesquite-flavored cazador wings. Get back at them with spice. Apple-sauced gecko stew, so good you'll crawl up the wall. Creamy mac and cheese. Your wife will stop asking for clam chowder. I don't get that one. And then for dinner, Brahmin sirloin on blue bighorn cheese. Even Gandhi could not sit this one out. Ooh, think I'll leave that one alone. Yum yum deviled eggs over pork and beans. Go out tonight with a bang, yeah. Either that or you'll be giving your partner a Dutch oven. And finally, grilled mantis claw on piña nuts. Has he been for too long in Gomorrah? Is that a castration joke? All meals served from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. The next section is the gift catalog. Vault 21's gift shop offers the finest pre-war merchandise in all of New Vegas. Vault 21 suits, real leather with real attitude. Pre-war toasters, the crunch of yesterday in today's bread. Pre-war books, have the pleasure of owning what you can't understand. Does that mean most people can't read? And Vault 21 card decks, stacked with 200 years of good luck. Sensor modules, see them coming a mile away. Vault 21 pool sets, hustle it like Minnesota Fats. I'm assuming that's a famous pool player. Nitrogen canisters, laugh it all out. 'Cause laughing gas is nitrous oxide, okay, I get it. And pre-war toy cars. Toys, yes, but these still run. Be among the elite few to possess a piece of the past in your bright future. The next section is on convenience. Guests get courtesy intercom wake-up calls, laundry facilities, guided tours, strip-style poker lessons, room service, and network access. Backing out of services, we can next read the history of Vault 21. In the first one, Vault 21, a paradise of equality. Vault 21 has a story unlike any other nuclear fallout shelter. You are about to learn why. It is common knowledge that some vaults were built and organized with motives that went beyond their function as safeguards of our last great hope, the hope that humanity would survive even the worst catastrophe imaginable, nuclear war. Vault 21 was one of these experimental vaults. In the spirit of Las Vegas, our vault was built and organized around gambling. Everything you will see here follows the idea that humans can coexist and organize their lives based on the principle that skill is the only factor that should tip the blind balance held by Lady Luck. We embodied the perfect equilibrium between self-reliance and social equality. Each level of Vault 21 was symmetrical and transparent. Each room looked exactly like the next, and every gambling place was built in plain sight so that no person would have advantage over another. Thanks to this, quarrels in our society were solved from an equal starting ground, the best one, just like our American dream promised so long ago. After 200 years of living in harmony, we finally awoke to the nature of the outside world when Mr. House, in his able wisdom, resurrected our lost city as New Vegas. The next one is on opening to a new world. 7 years ago, Mr. House rebuilt and organized the great city of New Vegas. Vault 21 rests in the middle of the strip, and it was inevitable that it would become part of the city's bright future. Mr. House contacted our community and offered us to participate in the resurgence of New Vegas. Most Vault 21 dwellers refused the offer. Life was comfortable, safe, and fruitful. We had grown so accustomed to the benefits of our isolated society that we could not conceive leaving it behind for an unknown future teetering on a precarious balance. Still, there were some among us who disagreed with the prevailing wisdom. They challenged, on Mr. House's behalf, each of the vault level's representatives that supported continuing our isolation. According to the custom, a game would be set up where the winner would decide the course of the community's future. A game of blackjack was scheduled and held in this very level of Vault 21. After many hours of grueling struggle, Mr. House's supporters won in an extremely risky and fateful gambit. They decided to open up the doors to the outside world. The rest upheld our system and remained true to their promise to abide by the victor's decisions. After almost 200 years within Vault 21's halls, we released the seals of the ancient doors. We opened to a new world. They end with a tribute to Mr. House. Mr. House, with the help of the families, had transformed the mostly unharmed ruins of Las Vegas into a paradise. It resembled the city that we remembered thanks to the stories and items that our forefathers told and secured in Vault 21 after the Cataclysm. We were awestruck and cautious at once. Slowly, we left the confines of the vault and settled within New Vegas, aiding in its reconstruction. Vault 21, a giant complex of functioning machinery, became a great source of materials with which to rebuild New Vegas. Mr. House stripped the vault and filled its empty husk with concrete, only leaving behind part of the vault's top level. This section is where you now find hospice and where the warmth of our ancient home remains alive for all to enjoy. We have come to recognize the wisdom of Mr. House in forging a new and brighter future for all generations of New Vegas's inhabitants. Without his leadership, the barren wasteland would have remained uncivilized, savage, and brutal for all time. We sincerely hope that you join us in celebrating the glory of New Vegas and the memory of Vault 21's legacy. This is heartbreaking and hard to read. Makes me wonder who exactly wrote this tribute to Mr. House, because after talking with Sarah, who's in charge around here, she didn't exactly have very fond things to say about him. Maybe she wrote this tribute to him because she felt forced to, or maybe he wrote it about himself. The final section is on mail messaging. We see messages and sent, but there's nothing here, presumably because we haven't actually paid for the room yet. But we learned a great deal from this terminal, and it leaves me feeling conflicted. Is what Mr. House did to Vault 21 an atrocity because he stole the home from so many people, causing so many to become homeless and to even die? Or because so much technology was scavenged from it and used to help rebuild Vegas, was it for the greater good? Heading out of the hotel room and down the hall to the east, we see Sarah's room to the left, and it's locked with an average lock. Now, we could pick this to see what's inside, but there's one other opportunity to get into this room, which we'll explore a little later, so let's leave that for now. Turning right, we can go in a big loop down another hallway, which connects to the game room that Sarah pointed out during the tour. Inside, we find a jukebox, a sunset sarsaparilla vending machine, and a bunch of books and billiard tables. There's some seating here, and some of the hotel patrons are walking around chatting with each other. There's a blackjack table to the east, and despite the lore of this place being that Vault 21 is a functional hotel and casino, we can't gamble here. We can gamble in almost all of the other casinos, but not in this one for some reason. Vault 21 is a labyrinth of twisting corridors and hallways. Heading out of the game room to the east, we can go straight across an intersection, turn left, then right, then left, to open a door. Going through the door, we can go down some stairs only to end at solid concrete. So it's true. Mr. House did fill up the entire rest of the vault with concrete so that it could never be used as a vault again. I wonder how many levels of Vault 21 he had to fill up. Some of these vaults can go 4, 5, 6 levels deep. Retracing our steps, and instead of going straight into the game room, we turn left, we find another hotel room directly to the left. And as we learned on the terminal, each of these hotel rooms are identical. The furniture may be rearranged, but they all have the same pieces of furniture, and the layout is nearly identical. The majority of what we find here on this level is more hotel rooms, and we're free to enter most of these, with the exception of Sarah Weintraub's. In one of the guest rooms, on the southeastern end of Vault 21, we find Strip Letter 1. Dear Edna, lost all our money at the casinos. Send more ASAP. We'll get it all back. Trust me. Lenny. In a nearby guest room, we find Strip Letter number 2. Billy, don't be mad, but I lost all our savings at the Tops last night. It's not my fault. I was on a hot streak and was up 2,000 caps, but then I had a run of bad luck and lost it all. I'm gonna go see if I can scrounge up a few caps and try to get it all back. Please don't hate me. Sue. These strip letters are not part of any quest. We not only find them here in Vault 21, but all over the strip. All these do is shed some light into the lives of the people who came here to the strip to try and find their fortune. Eventually, we find a hallway going west that has 3 splits. Going south leads to an inaccessible door, which sadly we can't open. In a guest room just west of this door, we find the strip letter number 3. Hey Mom, I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is that I didn't lose all my money on the silly gambling games, as you call them. The bad news is that I lost all my money on one of the girls at Gomorrah. You would have liked her, though. She was a real classy lady. Well, since there's nothing left for me here and I'm all out of caps, I'll be heading home soon. Love you, Dennis. I wonder if we'll ever find any strip letters that end well, or is every life that comes here to the strip ruined? Turning around and going west down the hallway, we arrive at another dead end filled with concrete. So Mr. House sealed off even some of the portions of this level as well. Directly next to this room is a warehouse, but it must have been a bedroom in the past. It still has some of the same lovely floral wallpaper we've seen in some of the other rooms. Here we find a first aid kit and a bunch of scrap. That's about it. Heading out and taking this labyrinth to the north-northwest, we find an inaccessible door to the left, but there are windows in this wall, and we can peer on in. This looks like an abandoned portion of the vault, filled up with dirt and rocks and rubble. We see Nuka-Cola machines tipped over, and even some billiard tables just strewn about. Mr. House has locked these doors and thrown away the key. The rubble extends around the corner, completely blocking off one hallway, and we see big slabs of concrete, blocking many of the passages over here. To leave, we can turn around and take a passage north, which brings us up a staircase to the east. From here, we can turn south, which leads to the balcony overlooking the primary game floor atrium. Now, typically, the overseer's office overlooks the main atrium from a window in the wall. We see 2 windows overlooking this atrium, but heading around back behind one, we just find a hallway with consoles, no overseer's office. And the same is true if we turn around and check out the other one. Heading back down to the ground floor, we can head to the southwest to check out that diner that Sarah pointed out during the tour. This is where they sell the iguana sausages that are not made, thankfully, from iguana sausages. We see lots of food and cutlery set out on a countertop, a sunset sarsaparilla and Nuka-Cola machine against a wall, and a man in a corner drinking coffee, sunset sarsaparilla, and playing chess alone, named Carlitos.
Hey, do you mind? I'm trying to drink myself to the ground right here. Scram.
We'll do as he asks for now, because Carlitos is involved in an important quest that revolves around the Gomorrah Casino. So we'll have a chat with him later when I do my series of videos on Gomorrah. There's a small kitchen back here. And heading out, we can check out the primary gambling floor that we saw from the balcony above. Here we see a bunch of gamblers dressed to the nines, ready to take in Vegas. But no one seems to be gambling right now. Well, we've pretty much explored the entire vault. We can turn around to go talk with Sarah again. This leads us up a stairway, and we find ourselves back in that mini atrium. Sarah said that this room was used as a control center for life support systems and the electric grid. Heading up the stairs, we can go across a catwalk to a control room on the opposite side. Here we find the vault's mainframe and a number of control terminals. Both terminals have the same information. We find 3 entries: Vault Security, Vault Life Support, and Vault Access Control. Upon choosing any of them, we get the same response: access denied, system override, House Mainframe. So House is controlling all of the systems of this vault, including security and life support, from his own mainframes. He has truly taken completely over. When done, we can turn around, head back up the stairs to the gift shop. We never explored this gift shop when we first entered. We find a lot of pre-war goodies, including radios, switches, typewriters, toasters, toys, all sorts of stuff on the walls. There's a backlit illuminated picture on the wall, which is pretty cool and unique, of a family having a picnic right above a Vault-Tec vault, and then a bunch of other kitschy memorabilia, Captain Cosmos, propaganda posters, and even Fallout shelter signs. We see a smaller than usual terminal sitting on a children's school desk. Sarah likes to come over here to eat her meals. This terminal has all the same messages that we read on the terminals inside the hotel rooms. But another unique feature is the billboard against the eastern wall. Here we find notes that we don't find anywhere else in the game. Sign up now for Saturday's baseball game in the Atrium. We still need a shortstop to even out the teams. Wednesday is bingo night in the diner. First prize, a week's supply of water rations. Lost, 1 copy of Dean's Electronics. If found, please return to Ollie. Well, I think it's gone. We just turned Vault 21 upside down and we didn't find it. Enter the annual Vault 21 Bake-Off. Bunt cakes only. If anyone wants a tarot card reading, you know where to find me. A fascinating snapshot into the everyday life of the people who once lived here at Vault 21. When Sarah walks away from the front desk, we can take the opportunity to examine her terminal. But it's locked with a very hard lock. We need a skill of 100 in science to hack this sucker. Thankfully, I'm almost there, so popping a Programmer's Digest, I can gain access to it, but I lose karma. After hacking the terminal, we see messages and sent mail. In messages, we find a new message from Sheldon Weintraub. Oh, Sarah mentioned Sheldon when she was talking with us. She said that he and she were the ones who convinced Mr. House to turn the top level of the vault into a hotel and casino. Hey, little sis, how are you holding up? I miss you so much, Sarah. This place makes me want to run back to our home every single day. I just had to write you so that I could feel a bit warmer. The warehouse's cold air weighs on me as heavily as the concrete that Mr. House dumped into our vault. Damned be his soul. Yeah, I imagine that you did not expect that outburst from your cool bro, but I'm reaching the end of the corridor here. Emptiness is my muse. Doubt is my only mistress. Everything that once inspired my art slowly drifts back into nothingness, into an unfathomable void where neither I find light nor its radiance searches for the spring of my soul. Bah, don't I sound pathetic? I don't wish to worry you, little sis. I just wish I could be there for you right now. Perhaps once I find my strength again, once I've finished the latest suggestion for Mr. House, I'll venture into the strip and visit you. My thoughts are with you, hot-headed roadster. So Sheldon was her brother. And isn't he a sensitive soul? The next one is titled Our Influential Friends. Dear Mrs. Weintraub, this is Charlene Tan writing to say thank you for the great experience we had at your hotel. I can't wait to tell my inner circle. As you recall, my husband Biff is a very respected and influential man in our wealthy community. Mrs. Schott, Ingrid Denga, and Lady Boofton will soon come to tea at our estate, and I will direct them your way. They will love the quaint and rustic feel of your cramped and underground hole. Très chic! Even Biff still talks about his new favorite, ringing garb. The leather from my Vault 21 suit contains the scent of unwashed ages, as he says to all of our visitors. But he won't let them try it on for 1 minute, the dear. With most sincerity, Mrs. Tan. Almost sounds like it was written from someone from the upper stands. Where do these people live? That's all for her messages. So backing out, we can go to sent mail. We see that Sarah sent one message called, Hey, you! What's shaking, my cool bro? You'll be happy to know that our vault is packed and coasting along. Even with those legionaries' bad news, we still get plenty of NCR squares down here. They are all chirpy, and don't appear to mind that Caesar is cruising for a bruising all over the place. Maybe the NCR is stronger than we thought, huh? Don't know. You think we can trust them over Mr. House? I still feel all clutched over what he did to our home. I mean, yeah, it's good that we got to keep part of our vault, but I can't shake the thought that one of these days he'll just push me out into the open once he doesn't need us anymore. I tell ya, we should have never accepted his challenge. That shuckster cheated us, I'm sure. Anyway, you've heard all of that before, and I just wanted to bring you a little smile. Cheer up, Buttercup. I miss you. Sarah. So Sarah can still communicate with her brother Sheldon, and Sheldon must be close if she's able to reach him via this terminal, which must be connected to it on the same network. Indeed, her brother Sheldon is in New Vegas, and we'll pay him a visit in an upcoming video. Once we've finished our snooping, we can have another chat with Sarah. After all, we never had a chance to explore her gift shop.
Good to see you again.
What kinds of things do you sell in the gift shop?
I have all sorts of things. Vault souvenirs, vault wares, vault machines, vault mementos, and vault suits. And, well, lots of other vault things, too.
Vault gear? Swell. Can you show me what you got?
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay, I got these great lunch boxes. They're super. What else? Oh, look at these toasters. You like toast, right? If they're crunchy, even better. What about a vintage Vault-Tec toy car? Or...
Quit yapping. I'm starting to think of very unpleasant uses for those toasters.
Cool it, smarty pants. I don't have to take that shit from anybody, you know. Get out. Don't come back until you learn how to get along.
Whoa. She did not like that.
Behave, and don't give me a reason to kick you out.
Now, if at any point we are rude to her like this, we lock ourselves out of future opportunities with her. So reloading a previous save, we can instead say, Sarah, stop it right there. Do you actually have any vault gear for sale?
Okay, I do, but who wants a lame sensor module or a nitrogen canister anyway? All the popular stuff has been sold, especially the vault suits. I need to find more because people buy them like hotcakes. Leather suits are good times. Thinking about that just blows my top.
Well, she really likes her leather suits. At this point, if we have a male courier, we get more speech options that we don't get if we have a female courier. If our courier is male, we can pass a 65 speech check to say, you know, leather is my specialty. Unzip it, heat it, and rub a shine onto it.
Really? Well, I don't even know what to say to that.
We can then pass a 75 speech check to say, just don't say, right here, right now. After all, we don't want to get the patrons all riled up, do we?
Ha ha ha. Okay, why don't you help me out? And in the meantime, I'll think about where to take advantage of your skills.
At this point, we can respond to her request for help by saying, sure, I might be persuaded to lend a hand.
You would? You really would? That would help me a lot. I'll pay you good money per each suit.
So she wants us to find vault suits, and she's willing to buy them off of us. Now, we've already explored the boomers, and we learned that they were once the dwellers of Vault 34. They made their boomer jumpsuits using their old Vault 34 suits. With this knowledge, we can pass a barter check of 65 to say, shame that you can't fix up those boomer suits. They're very similar to vault suits.
Hey, who says I can't fix that? You bring me those boom suits too, okay?
And with that, we can turn in boomer suits to her as well. Okay, you got it, Sarah.
Thank you so much. You're an angel. I can't wait to see you again.
Now, I have been saving vault suits for quite some time, so heading back to the Lucky 38, I can raid my wardrobe of all of the vault suits in my possession. Heading back to Sarah in Vault 21, we can say, do you still need some more of that vault stuff?
If you could bring me vault suits, I would so make it worth your while. I mean, really. But it has to be good leather, okay?
I've got vault gear for you.
You do? That's wonderful. Let me see what you brought. All right. That's going to net you lots of caps, my friend. Do you want to trade all your vault suits right now?
Yeah, I'd like that.
Oh, that makes me so happy. You are too much.
We get caps and strip fame for every suit we turn in. After turning in 30 or more suits to Sarah, she says something new the next time she sees us.
Hey, stranger. Where you been, huh? I missed you.
Oh, well, in that case, pass by my room and we'll catch up.
You're kicking me into gear, huh? Well, I think I'll drive my chassis over to your pad. Wait for me down there and don't forget the oil.
Oh, the oil. What exactly does she have in mind? She heads on over to close up shop.
Give me a few to close the shop. I'll meet you at the room.
So down into the vault we go. We get this option as either a male or female courier after turning in 30 suits, or as a male courier who passed those 2 speech checks earlier. Then after turning in only a few suits, she gives us this opportunity. Checking out her room, yeah, it's still locked, so she wants to meet us in ours. So walking into our room, our camera freezes, we can't move, and there she is. Sarah walks on over to the bed, changes into some sexy sleepwear, and lies down. The door closes behind us and...
Sarah, so agoraphobic. She likes the leather and, for some reason, oil. Suits you, Sarah.
We are now well rested. Sarah, however, is asleep on the bed. We can take the opportunity to pickpocket her. On her inventory, we find Sarah's dresser key and Sarah's room pass card. Also, if we pickpocket her Vault 21 jumpsuit, when she wakes up and goes back to the gift shop, she'll be forced to wear her sexy sleepwear. Not sure why you'd want to see her in that all the time. Just saying, it's possible. Using the key we've just pilfered, we can go on over to her room and open the door. Inside, we find a layout that is to us familiar by now, and on a nightstand next to her bed is a snow globe of the Strip. You found a limited edition Mojave Landmark snow globe. We can either sell this to Mr. House or put it on display at the Lucky 38 Casino. Here on her desk, we find Sarah's terminal. It has the same content as the one we found in her gift shop, all of her personal messages. The difference is that this is locked with an easy lock instead of a very hard one. The key on her inventory unlocks Sarah's dresser. Inside, we find a stash of 290 bottle caps and a whole lot of clothing, including quite a few Vault jumpsuits. But I'm going to go ahead and leave them alone. I don't want to steal from her. When done snooping around in her room, we can close the door as if nothing ever happened, put the Vault suit back on her inventory, no sense being half-dressed around here, and then wake her up.
That was something else. I look forward to the next ride. Once I recover, you monster.
Oh my goodness. What is this, a cartoon? With that, we gain access to this hotel room as our personal private player home. She no longer rents it out to anyone else, it's ours for good. We can safely store our belongings here, and Sarah is willing at any time to again accompany us down to the room.
You're kicking me into gear, huh?
At last, we can check out her inventory. Let's see what you got for sale, Sarah.
Take a look at this.
On her inventory, we can find an armored Vault 21 jumpsuit if we have mods installed that fix bugs in the game. The armored Vault 21 jumpsuit was always intended to be part of the game. It was accidentally cut from the game, as revealed by one of the developers. The armored 21 Vault suit is a great piece of armor to get early in the gameplay, as it has a bonus of +5 to guns and energy weapons, with a pretty decent damage threshold of 8. Aside from that, her inventory is not that impressive, though she does have 450 caps with which to barter. With that, we finish exploring Vault 21, and we can head back to the Strip. I walk away from this story conflicted. This was one of the few Vault-Tec vaults with an experiment that, from all appearances, worked. Vault 21 functioned as a perfect little society for over 200 years until Mr. House discovered it. Vault-Tec didn't murder anyone, didn't brainwash or otherwise damage them. However, the experiment itself did eventually lead to the Vault's downfall. After all, House didn't use his robots to crack open the Vault. No, he contacted the Vault dwellers and simply asked them if they'd open the door. They then used their traditional way of solving disputes by gambling to solve this one. But it just so happened that Mr. House won. Sarah Weintraub said in her personal messages to her brother that she thinks that somehow Mr. House cheated, which makes sense. After all, we learned that the leader of every single floor in the Vault had to be defeated by one of House's supporters in order for them to all agree to open the door. What are the odds that a House supporter would defeat each floor's leader on every single floor of the Vault? Those are some tough odds. We don't have any definitive proof of this, but I think it's likely that House probably cheated. And if anyone could cheat, it would be House, the self-described Emperor of New Vegas. I think the experiment that went on at Vault 21 is perfect for the Las Vegas location. The dwellers of Vault 21 had everything they wanted. A close-knit community, family, brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, friends. They were respected, they had rules that they all followed, they knew how to resolve disputes, and they shared a legacy of over 200 years that they had been passing down from generation to generation. Is that not what wastelanders in the Mojave Wasteland have been craving all their lives, have been searching for in every settlement they visit, that they've been hoping to buy with every cap they save? The residents of Vault 21 had it all, but some of them wondered, maybe there's more. Maybe outside in the ruins of New Vegas, there's something better than what we have in this safe, protected community. It's possible that Mr. House talked up his New Vegas strip, promised them things that he couldn't fulfill, or told them lies to spark their greed. The thing that makes gambling so addictive, and the thing about gambling that ruins so many lives, is of course the allure of getting something better than you already have. When you gamble away 100 caps, it's because you were hoping for 1,000. And when you gamble away 200 years of safety, security, community, and history, it's because you think that on the other side of that door is something greater than what you have. And in true Vegas fashion, they gambled away their legacy. Part of me gets the impression after reading her letters that it may have been Sarah and possibly her brother who were on the team of House, who wanted to see what was on the other side of that door. She writes as if she almost feels personally betrayed by House. You wouldn't write that way if you were opposed to the whole thing from the beginning. If anything, you would feel indignant. You'd be able to say, "See, I told you so." But no, Sarah feels conned. I get the impression that she's probably one of the people who sided with Mr. House, who maybe was sitting at that blackjack table, competing against her family and her community for a man she'd never met. And then when that door opened and those robots rolled in, only then she realized her great mistake. She and the other vault dwellers gambled away the only oasis, the only paradise that existed in the Mojave Wasteland. They became homeless, some died of disease. But was this for the greater good? After all, using the technology he scavenged from Vault 21, House rebuilt the Strip, refurbished the Tops, the Ultralukes, and Gomorrah, possibly even got the monorail between the Las Vegas Boulevard and McCarran working, gave the NCR what they needed to set up their embassy. New Vegas is home to hundreds of people, is a destination for so many thousands, has created an economy and a civilization in this section of the Mojave. It's no paradise for a small group of dozens, but it's a sight better than the wasteland, and it serves the thousands. Perhaps the sacrifice of the lives in Vault 21 was worth getting the Strip fully functional. What are your thoughts on the topic? Do you think what Mr. House did was atrocious? Or do you think that because more people likely benefited from it, that it was a good decision? Now, we learned a little bit about Sarah's brother Sheldon. We'll uncover his complete story in an upcoming episode. Until then, thank you all so much for watching. I publish a new Fallout video 6 days a week on a wide range of topics spanning all of the games. If you want to make sure that you don't miss my next video, be sure to subscribe and to click that bell notification button. You can follow me on Twitter and Facebook to keep up to date with all Oxhorn news, and if you like what I do and you want to support me in a more personal way, consider becoming one of my patrons on Patreon. But more than anything, I'm just so glad you're here watching this video with me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early, with a brand new video.